what happens.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, Rebecca. We are.
Hello, Robin.
Hi. I was hoping that was what was going to come back. So I'm getting really, really excited to see you in Puerto Vallarta in a couple of months now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's so exciting that you're going to also come and be present, come back to Love Retreat. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this was because a couple people have mentioned, not necessarily directly about Puerto Vallarta, by the way, but just about, like, first of all, what is it like to travel, which we both can probably talk about because I've done a ton of travel in the last 2 years, despite whatever's been going on in the world. And specifically, people have been increasingly anxious about Mexico.
Mm.
And so I just thought we could talk about that. And you being there, you know, you kind of have, at least we're in your area, which is where we're going, because I guess I didn't say out loud right now that you live in Puerto Vallarta, and that is where I am holding my retreat. So lucky us, we have the inside scoop into what's happening there. So how is it? How is it these days?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, I should say that I've lived here a little over 2 years. I'm actually a resident. I have my what they call temporary residency, which means for the next 4 years, I can come and go freely without a visa. And when I came here, a lot of people were like, Mexico, are you sure it's safe? And I would say Mexico gets a bad rap, kind of like New York gets a bad rap. And if you're from New York, you know that what's portrayed on the news and in the movies is not nearly the actual experience. So, first of all, I will say Puerto Vallarta has the lowest crime rate in Mexico.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, cool. So it's actually the safest. It's the safest city in Mexico. Do things like kidnappings happen? Mostly in Mexico City, periodically here, but they're usually politically motivated, or it's like within the business of the cartel. So unless you have pissed off the Mexican mafia, you don't have a lot to worry about. The other thing is, you know, anytime you travel anywhere, you want to bring your awareness with you. You know, you don't walk around with your purse unzipped, flashing a ton of cash. You don't travel with your passport, or, you know, you keep that in the safe at your hotel room. But I have not, in 2 years, I have not personally had anything. I haven't been pickpocketed. I haven't been robbed. None of that. You know, also we're going to be mostly on the property as a group. But you know, I would just say I walk around at like 1 o'clock in the morning in my neighborhood and I feel totally safe. There's a big police presence here, with like AK-47s on the back of a Jeep driving around. So they're very visible. This is a town that makes its money on tourism. They cannot afford for you to be hassled, or feel unsafe. So it's really, you know, the opposite. They are very concerned with keeping you safe.
Yeah, I was going to say that, like, when I was in Puerto Vallarta, which was just a couple of years ago, like maybe 4 years ago now, I felt completely safe. I mean, I felt like I was greeted at the airport, like, so warmly and lovingly. And there's a whole, I don't know if it's still happening, but like when I got off the airplane, people were like, here, have a shot of tequila. And I'm like, no, thanks. And but it still felt like, you know, like I was being greeted. And although we had a villa a couple of years ago, same thing. I also spent tons of time downtown, like several visits, and I stayed later and stayed downtown at a guest house or something. And to me, because it's such a resort town, basically it just felt completely safe. Like, it's not a city. It's a city, but it's not a city, you know. and it's really like a town on the water.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I just personally felt completely safe. And it
Mhm.
sounds like you're saying, like, yeah, you do smart things, like you don't keep your passport in your bag. No, of course not. And you don't flash money, but you wouldn't do that anywhere.
Right.
And I think when people are thinking about things that feel unsafe in Mexico, they're probably more thinking about Mexico City, like you said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which Mexico City is a big city. It is like
Yeah, it's
New
right,
York or
right.
Houston, and so it is like a beach town here, but a big beach town.
Yeah, yeah, big beach town, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, there's a lot of Montezuma people are afraid of the food, they're afraid of the water, and that's also not really true. The water here is actually very clean. The pipes aren't necessarily great, so you will, but there's filtered water everywhere, and you just
Right.
don't drink the water. During COVID, Puerto Vallarta experienced a lot of people moving in. I bet when you get here, it's even very different than you saw 4 years ago. It's gotten
Wow.
like so many people came here during the pandemic and just stayed.
Wow. Wow.
So I have friends that have had condos for 27 years. Like they were really cutting edge. But then in the last 4 years, even in the last 2 years, there's been tremendous growth. A lot of co-ops going up. A lot of
Yeah.
English is spoken here. A lot of expats living here, digital nomads living here because we have good internet.
Wow.
Um,
Right.
yeah.
Well,
So
that's great to hear. I'm really curious, and I actually can't wait. And you probably also know that I'm going to be there for 3 weeks. So I'm very excited to
yeah,
kind of play digital nomad for 3 weeks.
yes.
And yeah, and then lead my retreat the last 5 days during my time there. So
Okay, so you're
thank you.
coming before and
Yeah.
leading up to the retreat. Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, one of my
So,
favorite things to do is show off my new hometown and share things with people. And anyone who's coming that may want to stay longer or come early and wants to pick my brain about neighborhoods to stay and,
oh, great.
things to do. And
Nice.
looking forward to the retreat and maybe having some fun excursions as well. Maybe a little
Yes.
bachata dancing.
Yes. 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 Can't
Yeah.
wait for that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm really excited, and thank you for the inside scoop.
You're welcome.
It's really helpful. Yeah.
All
So,
right. Well,
I will post in the comment section the link to the retreat so people can see all of the incredible fun we're going to have together. And yeah, thank you very much, Rebecca.
nos vemos. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.